Hello, fellow readers and booktubers. This is my response to the Would You Rather book tag. I had been tagged by Kevin Toll at Kevin Toll Reads. I believe in his post, he said he hadn't been tagged, but he had seen the tag, and he had traced it to Xanadu Castle, and then from there to Chrissy Books, and from there to Benjamin's Book Club. I don't think Kevin took it any further back than that, but I'll include those links, including Kevin's, when I post this. Essentially, I think what first attracted me to the tag, or why I was curious about it, is I first read it as Would You Rather, the Would You Rather tag, which seems to me to be the opening line to a dirty joke. And but it isn't. It's not a dirty joke. There's no dirty jokes here. But then I realized the tag actually was Would You Rather book tag, the Would You Rather book tag. So, and what it is, it's 10 questions. They're either or questions, and they all deal with one's reading preferences or how you choose the books that you read. Perfect for book two. So without further ado, let me go through the 10 questions. I will post these as well. Question number 1. Would you rather only be able to reread your favorite book once every 10 years or be forced to read your least favorite book once a year? I would go for my favorite book only once every 10 years because at least I would always have that to look forward to. And then there are other books. That's certainly always preferable to have to reread the same crappy book every year, year after year. So I'm definitely choosing my favorite book, but only once every 10 years. Question number 2. Would you rather be forced to get rid of all the books by your favorite author, or get rid of your entire library except your least favorite author? Okay. I would be willing to get rid of the books by my favorite author because at least then I could keep the rest of my library rather than lose everything to one poor author. You know, I have a couple of favorite authors, so that's kind of a trick question there. But at least if I had to get rid of all the books by my favorite author, I'd still have tons of other books that I enjoy reading and rereading. Much preferable to have to get rid of all of that and just have a couple of books left by a very bad author. So I would pick to get rid of the books by my favorite author rather than lose everything and only be allowed to keep books by one not so good author. Would you rather only be able to read very short books, 300 or less pages, or very long books? I would go with the long books. I like short books. I read short books, of course, but long books, you know, if they're fiction, they allow you to get lost into a world with new characters. And I'm not talking about science fiction or fantasy. I'm talking about the real world, but still, or it could be another culture or something, but you really get submerged into it, which can be just remarkably fascinating. Or even nonfiction books, especially a really good history that's well written, that can go on for hundreds and hundreds of pages. Again, you're immersing yourself into another time, another culture, another personality. Short books, they're good. I like short books, but sometimes you're kind of galloping through things. I prefer a longer book. If I had to choose, I would go with the longer book. Would you rather your favorite series get a terrible adaptation or never be adapted? Never be adapted. Sometimes I think I think no novels should ever be made into movies. And having said that, there are some wonderful film adaptations of novels. I think one of the best goes back to the 1930s. It was the movie version of John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath. Just beautifully done. More recently, Cormac McCarthy's No Country for Old Men. The Coen brothers made a movie version of that. So I'm not entirely averse to novels being adapted to the screen. On the other hand, you know, for me, reading is such a personal act. It's between me and the author, and I've mentioned this in previous posts. To have someone intrude in that and kind of present to you their idea of what these characters look like and what these situations look like, and kind of have that stamped into your brain and kind of undermine any rereading of the book. So let me get back to the question here. Would you rather your favorite series get a terrible adaptation or never be adapted? I would say never be adapted. Never be adapted. And they're talking about a series of books here. I don't read a lot of series, but no matter. Question number 5. Would you rather an unfinished series have a terrible ending or remain unfinished forever? I would choose unfinished forever, because at least there, those characters can live on in your imagination, and they'll always be about their business. If the series is ended, even if it's got a good ending, still it's over, and the characters are gone. So leave it open-ended. That would be my choice. Would you rather cut your reading time in half or cut your book buying budget in half? The book buying budget, cut that in half. At this point, I have got so many unread books that I fully intend to read that I could probably go the rest of my life without having to buy another book. Although this is saying not to get rid of the book budget, just cut it in half. So yeah, I could live with that. I don't want anything cutting into my reading time. In fact, as I get older, my reading time is lengthening, and I like that. So I would say you can take half of my book buying budget away from me. It's probably for the best anyway. Would you rather be forced to listen to audiobooks at 3 times the speed or listen to audiobooks at half-time speed? This is a question that's really outside of my experience. I think I've only listened to maybe 2 or 3 audiobooks in my lifetime, and that was a long time ago. This was when these were audiobooks you would rent as a tape cassette from the local library and just stick them into your cassette recorder and listen to them. So I'm not sure. And then when they talk about different speeds, I'm not sure what they're getting at there. I would think if you had an audiobook and you were playing it at 3 times the speed, wouldn't that increase the pitch of the reader's voice on the tape or on the whatever it is? And if something was played at half the time speed, wouldn't that lower the pitch of the voice of the narrator? I could be completely wrong in this. This is a technology that I don't mess with. I don't mess with audiobooks. But it would seem to me if 3 times the speed increased the pitch of the reader's voice, wouldn't it be kind of like it would be as if a cartoon character were reading a book to you? I don't know how that would help. Or if the speed was lowered, it'd be like some creepy, ominous voice reading something to you. But again, I could be misinterpreting what's being asked there because I'm not into audiobooks. And as a matter of fact, question number 8, would you rather only be able to read physically or only be able to listen to audiobooks? I would go with a physical book. I know a lot of people enjoy audiobooks. It's a time consideration, gives them something to do on long drives or while they're exercising. Yeah, I understand that. But to me, listening and reading are 2 different activities, 2 different mental activities. You read a book, you listen to music, and to try to mix the 2 is crossing the wires of your head. I know that's not a popular view, but it's my view. So my answer to that one, only physical books, because audiobooks, in my humble opinion, that's not reading. I know it is for some of you. Please don't be offended. What can I say? I was asked, there's my opinion. Number 9, would you rather be stuck reading a mix of 3- and 4-star books or read a mix of 1- and 5-star books? I would go with the 3- and 4-star books because even though these star ratings of books are always subjective, if you get a whole bunch of people that give a book a 3 or a 4-star reading, there's a chance that book really is pretty good and you might like it even more. If you have to choose a mix of books that are rated with only 1 star or 5 stars, those are the 2 extremes. Those are the books that you either love or you hate. And if that's my choice, there's a really good chance I'm going to hate the book and feel very resentful about it. So playing the odds on that one, I would go for only reading books with star ratings between 3 and 4, because at least then, if it's not a great book, it's going to at least be pretty good, rather than the extreme ratings. Number 10, would you rather only watch your favorite booktuber or watch everyone besides your favorite booktuber? Now, here's a trick question. This is a dangerous question leading into dangerous waters. This is not unlike the question your wife might ask you when you're out to dinner and she says, so do you think our waitress is cute? There's no way you can answer that question without causing all kinds of disruption and chaos and hurt feelings. Or it's like if one of your children comes up to you and says, who do you like the best? These are unanswerable questions unless you really want to cause great damage to your well-being. So as far as that one goes, I love you all. And that's all I've got for you today. God bless you. Keep reading and peace.